What's up, everyone? I am the Kaiju no Kami from the Toku and Animation News Network, and I just wanted to give some thoughts on my feelings of, well, the Power Rangers Lightning Collection being put on hiatus. It's kind of disappointing. I mean, the line started out really great when Hasbro acquired it. They showed off this figure, they released this figure. It was very suit accurate, had wrinkles in the designs, the articulation was great. I mean, Saba kind of sucked in paint apps. I mean, they forgot to paint the gold on one side of his face compared to the other, but the articulation was fantastic. They were more show accurate. We got rid of the muscle-bound steroid rangers that Bandai was doing, and the paint apps weren't too bad. It wasn't perfect, but they showed a lot of promise. And it seemed like they had all this excitement, all these plans for the collection. They were going to do all this great stuff. I mean, they were doing great stuff. They were giving us monsters. They were giving us villains. And then it seemed like the staff for the line became a revolving door. I can't think of if there was any live stream that had the same team all appearing in the live stream twice. And then the issues started to appear. We got a Green Ranger that was missing the diamonds. And even the person was like, oh, there were the diamonds were supposed to be there? Oh, oops. And the first version that had like the silver painted here, had these all painted out for the teeth. This version, they just put the spray paint. I mean, that's not a huge deal, for me, but it started to show how they started to not care as much about the line. I mean, I will say, when they knocked it out of the park, they knocked it out of the park. Like, Spinster here is by far one of their best figures in the entire line, if not their best figure. He is just hands down incredible. He's more phenomenal. He's awesome. I love this figure. And then things went on a downward spiral. Paint apps were getting lazy. They didn't even frickin' paint King Sphinx's nose. Like, what the hell is up with that? Your artwork clearly shows his nose is supposed to be black, but they didn't paint the nose. I had to go and paint the nose. And then the inconsistencies. I didn't grab them, but SPD. Some of them came with white color of the SPD badges. Some of them had the SPD badges silver. Some of them had the lettering in one direction. Others had the lettering in another direction. The sizes were different. There just became too many inconsistencies. One thing I have noticed is, okay, sometimes they don't exactly get the colors matching. Like, I don't know how, it drives me nuts. The figure arts, Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger or Terra Ranger, mine at least had different colored pinks on the arms from the body, on the legs from the arms and body, and it was weird. It was just weird to see all these mismatched colors. Hasbro does it, and they're still mismatched. Like, the chest looked more purple than pink. The arms looked pink. The legs looked pink on some parts, some pieces. Then other pieces were a darker, more purplish pink. And the helmets, I won't get into the helmets for how they were initially. The helmets were crap at times. They weren't fully accurate. It's like they didn't even actually look at the pictures they could have looked at. I have Sentai books that I could have just sent them images of if they needed to see how the things looked. They could have just purchased those to get the details right. But they were still doing good things. They still showed promise. I really liked that they are fully articulated. Again, they were doing villains, they were doing monsters, even though they only did monsters for Mighty Morphin Season 1. Nobody else. I really feel like they could have done more, which I'll get into momentarily. The face sculpts for the Ranger heads were pretty crappy. They were inconsistent. They rarely looked like the actors. I mean, they were fine if you just wanted a basic representation of the character, which fine, I'm fine with, but if you're going to advertise that's going to be the actor's likeness, maybe you should actually sculpt the actor's likeness. And then continued on. Towards the end of the line, for example, I was so excited to get the male Yellow Ranger to be boy, because I still look at my Power Rangers line as Sentai. I don't care about Power Rangers. I mean, I like Power Rangers. I watch Power Rangers, but to me it's Sentai. I only care about the teams I like. But we started to get pinless joints, which was awesome, which meant an updated body. But then this happened. Like, what is that? They started doing these drop down joints that, one, it makes it hard to get them back up, because the moment you push one up, that one comes down. Okay, so I fix that, and then that one goes down. Okay, I fix that. Then, like, what is that? This is kind of loose. This is a bit loose. Fortunately, these aren't loose, but the hands are super loose. Like, that spins around without any effort. And sometimes holding heavy weapons doesn't work. But yeah, look at that. He's looser than a hooker's bra strap. I think I actually used that in my Shoto review, or unboxing. Whoops, damn. Repeated joke. And then even the $35 remastered one has similar issues with loose joints and loose wrists. This is not a $30 toy. I mean, skull-wise, it's amazing. Paint apps are much better, but it's not a $35 toy. And then we have the Zords. When Hasbro also announced that they were getting Power Rangers, they're like, oh my god, the company doing Transformers is going to be making Power Ranger mechs? Power Ranger Zords? Hell yeah, these are going to be the best Zords ever. Okay, cool. Where are they? Oh, they're going to do the Zeo Megazord. Oh, it's a gigantic, non-combining, non-transforming Zeo Megazord. Who asked for that? Okay. So, I don't understand what the thought process was for this line, if there was a thought process. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine that they spent all this money to acquire a line and then just half-ass it. It's kind of weird, kind of annoying. I don't get it. But you think, okay, they're going to do all these mechs, and they don't. Then they do this VHS retro line of Megazords that are based on the Japanese suits, which I thought was an amazing idea. But then they're limited in like 5 points of articulation. Well, actually it was more like 6, 7, 8 points of articulation, depending on which Zord you went with. And they only did 2 waves, and they did the Megazord, they did the Dragon Megazord mode, I don't remember the name, the Mega Tigerzord, Tigerzord, Thunder Megazord, and Lost Galaxy Megazord. So they did 6 Zords, 5 of them Mighty Morphin, and that's it. They didn't even do the Dragozord to go with the Mighty Morphin Season 1, and they didn't even do the Ninja or Shogun Zords, and they don't do Zords for any other line. They don't do much of anything. You can't even find Wave 2 in stores. I got Wave 2 from Pulse, and one of them was missing a weapon. The Mega Tigerzord was missing the Phoenix, and they never sent me a replacement for that figure. Never saw it in stores, so I could just buy a new one to get a replacement part. And they do nothing. And then they announced these Zaps figures that are big Zords, and I'm sorry, but I decided I don't want big Zords for my collection. I have limited space, and I want Zords that are in scale with my monsters. So basically I want 6, 7-inch Zords. Kind of like the SMPs, but Hasbro quality. They didn't have to be combining ones. I would have been fine if they had done a Lightning Collection 1-piece Megazord, not combining, in a two-pack with a monster from that season. They could have done like Lip Syncer and the Thunder Megazord. They could have did Nasty Knight and the Megazord. They could have done like the Scarlet Sentinel and the Tiger Zord. They could have done Murloc and the SPD Megazord. There were so many possibilities that they could do. Zeo Megazord with Silo as 2-packs, versus packs, Lightning Collection. Fully posable, show accurate Megazords. Didn't combine, they were one piece, kind of like the Transformers RED series, but Lightning Collection, and then they could do the big Zap ones for the combining ones. But they couldn't even do that. They gave us these limited articulated 6-inch Zords and didn't even fully commit to it. And now, because there's no show next year, they're putting the line on hiatus without finishing a lot of teams, without finishing a lot of villain groups, without doing monsters for every series. They just fumbled the ball. They should have put me in charge of this line. I could have given them a great line. Here's how I think they should have done the wave breakdown. Not 4 figures per wave, 6 figures per wave with a Build-A-Figure. Or, okay, 5 figures per wave with a Build-A-Figure. Or 6 figures without a Build-A-Figure. Every wave gets a deluxe figure instead of the Build-A-Figure. You have 4 Rangers per wave. You get, okay, let's go with 3 Rangers for sure. The 4th figure could be a throwaway. It could be a grunt for the villains or another Ranger. 5th figure is a villain, main villain, major villain from whatever series. And then either the Build-A-Figure or the deluxe figure per wave is a monster. I think they could do it in 5 figures. If they want to do a Build-A-Figure, you get leg, arm, body with head, or however they want to do it. But 1 main villain, 1 monster of the week, 3 Rangers with a random figure per wave. 6 figures in total, whether it's Build-A-Figure wave or 6 figures a wave. That's how I would have done it. And not just stuck with Mighty Morphin. One wave might have a Mighty Morphin monster, the next wave might have a Zeo monster, the next wave after that might have a Time Force monster, the wave after that might have a Wild Force monster. Maybe do a monster for, okay, we're going to do 2 Mighty Morphin, we're going to do 2 Mighty Morphin characters in this wave. We're going to do a Dino Thunder Ranger and a Turbo Ranger. We're going to have a villain from Mighty Morphin, or I'm trying to think how they did it. The first, whatever. But you have each wave have a monster from a different series in it. This way, you're not just stacking one series with all the monsters. This way you can have fans of Lightspeed Rescue can have a Lightspeed Rescue monster to go with the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers. And at some point, a Lightspeed Rescue main villain. Have a wave that included a Wild Force monster to go with the Wild Force Rangers. When Dino Charge was, or not Dino Charge, when Beast Morphers was airing, they could have had a Beast Morphers monster packed in. There were so many possibilities, and instead they just half-assed it. You know what? I would have been fine if they had said, you know what, we're only going to do main villains and monsters in the 6-inch basic line, not the Lightning Collection. Fine, I would have still bought them. I would have gone out of my way to buy those. If they want the Lightning Collection, just Rangers, cool, fine. I will go and buy the monsters in the 6-inch basic line. I would have been cool with that. But they needed to have done monsters every wave, and not just from Mighty Morphin. They needed a villain every wave. Then do Rangers for the other few figures, unless they wanted to do like an army builder grunt. That would have been the way I would have changed the main waves for Power Rangers. Yeah, there are people who hate Build-A-Figures because, oh, it makes me buy figures I don't want. Tough. If you want the Build-A-Figure, then you buy the entire wave. It's what Marvel fans have been doing for years. You know what? You just put on your big boy pants and accept it. You don't. There were figures and waves I didn't want, but you know what? I wanted that Build-A-Figure, so I made the decision. I'm going to buy the entire wave to get that Build-A-Figure. If I didn't want the Build-A-Figure and I didn't want everyone in that wave, I only bought the characters I wanted in that wave, unless maybe I found the wave on clearance for cheaper or whatever. But I chose my money. No one forced you to buy the entire wave. You made the decision. No one's telling you you have to get that Build-A-Figure. You make the decision. So that's how I would have changed that part. I would have also had, like I said, the Megazord Monster 2-packs. You could have done like one of those a quarter. Then you could do the Zap stuff. You could have the basic lines. Whatever. But that's how I would have done the Power Ranger stuff for Lightning. I know I'm just ranting and stuff, so you guys probably don't care. But this line had so much potential. So much potential. And they blew it on. Oh, and then you have the other inconsistencies. Even in the Alien Ranger 5-pack, the White Ranger has pinless joints. Double jointed arms for her arms. Pinless legs. The male Rangers all have pin joints. Like, why? Then we have inconsistent weapons with Lost Galaxy, where some of them came with the bazookas, some came with the swords, some didn't come with the swords, some came with their trans daggers, some didn't come with the trans daggers. The Pink Ranger has full pinless joints on the arms and legs. The Yellow Ranger has pinless arms but pinned legs. It is a mess overall. Hasbro either just gave up early on or they never cared to begin with. But I really find it hard that they bought the franchise without caring about it. I don't think they would have spent that much money on it had they not wanted to actually invest in the franchise. So I just feel like that mismanagement and nobody knowing what to do, them not having people on the team that were actually passionate about the line, is what harmed it. Either way, it was a mess, and it sucks because it was Bandai's all over again with the figure arts line. Mismanagement, lack of care, lack of engagement, never even communicating with the fans. That I think was the biggest problem of all though. They never communicated with the fans. I mean, figures were showing up in retail before they were even announced. Figures were showing up in retail with unpainted helmets before they were ever actually announced. And then they did an exchange program, but it was a limited time. So if you bought that figure after that period, then tough on you. We sold you a defective product. We know it's defective, but you didn't buy it within our time frame, so screw you. It sucks because there was so much potential over the Lightning collection, and now I feel like I've wasted all that time. I feel like box sets should have been done. You know what? Do a Ranger team in a box set. Do a full box set of the core team. Release the 6th Ranger in the regular waves. Release the Red Ranger separately in a regular wave. And because if people want the full team, they can buy the box sets. Do quarterly box sets for 5-packs of the whole Ranger team. Like I said, 6 Ranger in the waves. In fact, maybe that's what I would have done as well. Core Rangers in the wave, or Core Ranger box set. Regular wave is a Red Ranger, the 6th Ranger, Grunt, Villain, Monster, and maybe one other. Like Extra Hero or something. I don't know. But those are just the thoughts of what could have been the Lightning collection. What I think they should have done with the Lightning collection. So, like I said, I'm just kind of ranting here. I just wanted to pass along my thoughts on it. Especially now getting the Shotos where they're full box sets of an entire Ranger team. They're not perfect. Stickers kind of suck. But, hey, it's better than nothing. And at this point, something's better than nothing. And it helps that most of the Shotos are been pretty cool. They just lack villains and stuff like that. Which seems to be a common theme. I don't understand why companies don't like to provide... I mean, yes, they're a one-time monster, but still. The Rangers need to fight something, right? One monster per series, that's all you had to do. At least the bare minimum. Anyway, You guys tell me what you thought. What are your thoughts of the Lightning Collection? What do you think of the hiatus going on until there's another series? I also can't say I'm looking forward to the Netflix reboot, because if without the Sentai footage, why would I give a shit? I cared about Power Rangers later on because I wanted to see how they adapted that Sentai footage. Without that Sentai footage, I really don't care. And if they're going to reboot their universe, then that means all that continuity is lost. It really will be like Sentai, where every series is its own universe. And I love it for Sentai, but I will say the one thing Power Rangers had going over Sentai was its completely shared universe for the most part. Whatever. I hope you guys let me know in the comments. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support me. You can support me on Patreon and Twitter at Toku AAN Network. You can support me on Facebook, Instagram, and Discord at Kaiju no Kami, and my website, creativitybydesignllc.com. And you can buy cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise at creativitybydesignllc.com/shop. And there's a link in the description below. Until next time, bye.